Happy Tuesday. It's amazing out here in Michigan today. Warm, or just warm enough that I have like a blanket. And look I made myself some strawberry water. There's something you can do. Put some fruit in your H2O, friends. Jazz it up. I am recording right now because my man-child, can you see him through the window? He's on the screen. And there is 0% chance he will come to bother this person when he is on a screen. That is the sad and also revitalizing truth that we live with, especially right now. Without screens, well, let's just not go there. So I thought I would finish my thought process on education in the time of COVID-19. Leading into this, I had such concerted efforts around transforming and revitalizing education for the special ability community because the whole picture felt too daunting. Like, what could possibly happen to change the way we do education as a nation, let alone a world? What could possibly happen? Oh, COVID-19, coronavirus, pandemic. So the whole world is miraculously doing education differently as a whole. And as defeating and overwhelming as that reality is for so many of us, myself included, what an amazing opportunity we have collectively to reevaluate educational practices, methods, the entire structure and culture of education will have to be looked at differently moving forward in some capacity. And so I am feeling this like gurgling of excitement. Gurgling isn't a great word. Sorry about that. But there's excitement in me about what could happen from this. But it's also very overwhelming. How can, especially public school systems, we're no longer allocating funds based on standardized tests because nobody's taking them. And guess what? Your schools are still going to get money. So silly that we thought that we needed to teach to the test when they're going to still have to give money to the schools, even though there's no test scores. That's a plus. There's thought leaders like Sir Ken Robinson who have been talking about this for years and years and like beating his head against the wall, like, people, Common Core curriculum, everybody learning at the same pace, at the same time, with the same expectations, testing, grading. Can we please, for the love, put that aside and start rethinking the way that we teach towards who the students are, towards collaborative learning, towards project-based concepts, towards student-led learning, towards group work, towards emotional, social concepts. Because the emotional, social reality of what we're living in right now, I don't think anybody's really prepared for that because that's not the focus in school. And it wasn't when we were kids either. But what if it can be? Isn't that kind of what we all need right now in a worldwide crisis, is like social emotional tools? That's all I want right now. And that's all I want for my kids right now. Yeah, especially for the child who has autism and Tourette syndrome. That's all I want is social emotional learning. Um, the kids are we're gonna come back to school flailing in the fall. They all will, including teachers and administrators and parents. We're all just flailing. Um, but there are so many thought leaders in education now. I actually spent an hour on the phone with a producer at a new New York Times podcast, with Priya Parker, talking about how do we organize a mastermind around these thought leaders, because I'm not a leader in this work, but I get it. And I love organizing groups around intentional ideas and concepts and learning. But this is the time that we can rethink education as a whole. And that's really exciting to me. Um, and that I'm not saying that math isn't important. You know, don't read between the lines here, friends. Math is important in some respects. Um, we need to understand basic concepts and use a calculator. Um, but so much learning is not collaborative and it's not meaningful. So I think this is an interesting time. That's where I'm at. And I would like the rest of this year. Oh, it would be so amazing if our teachers and administrators could just stop and be able to take a breath and be able to use this time for social emotional learning for themselves and their students and not have pressure to test and show what their students are learning. Like, ugh, can we just give them a break? They need a break. We all need a break. We shouldn't be adding any pressure on any human in our life right now. That's nobody deserves it and nobody can handle it. I think that's the end of my soapbox. And I didn't get bothered. See? Man child. Still on his computer. All right. That's the end of my teachers. Teachers, thank you. With no chicken behind my head, thank you for what you're doing. And parents, take a break or just stop. Just stop if you need to stop.